This is Tiger Cats postgame on the Ticats Audio Network.
Second half woes continue for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, outscored 27-4. The final 30 minutes of this football game, and they lose to the rival Argonauts and slip further down in the East contention for a postseason situation at 3-8. 37-20 is the score. This is Tiger Cats post game. I'm Bubba O'Neill along with Andy Fantuz. And before we dig right into things, Andy, just one comment on what we saw here in this contest.
Well, Bubs, I'm speechless right now. My heart goes out for these guys. They were playing well. They had more net yards. They forced 6 two-and-outs against 2 tune-outs for the Ticats, but that only led to a difference of 13 to 10 points off those 2-and-outs, and it just goes back to those turnovers, just critical. 20-0 points off turnovers, and 6-1 in the actual turnovers. I mean, you just can't win football games like that. You play well most of the game. It seems like you have total control over the game, and then all of a sudden just bang, 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 couple plays in that third quarter, and the game gets blown open the other way. You could almost see the tears on the eyes on the sideline. It's just, I agree with Luke. You need to have an emotional healing after this game.
And I thought the emotional healing came after last week's game. But yeah, this one's really, really tough because it was against the Argonauts. It's the front end of that home and home. Labor Day upcoming. Here we go. In the Tiger Cats post game, we'll review the Carstar keys to victory. We have exclusive access in the locker room. We'll talk to Coach Joe and a player. We will present our performer of the game as presented by Hercules Tire, right on our strength. And then we'll go 4 wide, little NASCAR saying there. Luke Tasker and RJ Broadhead join us in the booth, and we'll try and salt away this one, look back, look future at what has exactly happened here. At the end of the day, I think Luke talked about it. You just can't turn the ball over, and I want to ask you this question, and again, Dane Evans is just not the same Dane Evans as, is he playing hurt? There's something wrong with his delivery. Your thoughts?
Yeah, there's certainly some kind of mental battle he's having since the start of the season. That when he had those fumbles early in the season, and there's tons of outside pressure, and it's getting to him. And there were just a couple decisions here tonight that he just cannot make. I mean, you can't look at hitches across the board and go third, 1-2 to your left side, try to go right and throw it late. I mean, Jamal Peters just read it the whole way, and then he gave him 2 gifts earlier before that, his first 2 picks. There's got to be some kind of standard, and you just can't keep living with this. And Matthew Schultz, it was his game to play, and he goes down with an injury. Just when it rains, it pours. Just so unfortunate series of events. The late, and then you get the 3rd and 2, and you got a run by Pappy White. I mean, I just don't understand it.
Especially when you have a Don Jackson that's running the ball effectively. It just seems like, in a situation like that, 3rd down, you need some distance. Not just 1, you needed 2, and you're giving it to a 5'4" receiver.
Yeah, it's so strange to be talking about this game because you have, 444 net yards against 287. Your tackling was superb. Your defense was playing pretty good. I mean, your special teams was at least equal this game, if not the better team, and yet you get blown away. I mean, it only points to one stat, and that's the turnovers.
Evans, 19 out of 30, 244 yards, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble. Matthew Schultz, before leaving the game with what appears to be a right hand injury, 13 out of 15, 144, 1 touchdown, no mistakes. Let's bring in RJ and Luke. And I guess, first of all, Luke, we got to be concerned about the status of Matthew Schultz at this point, because it appears that this was his game to finish.
Yep, it appeared that way. And prior to this week, Matt Schultz having played the last 2 games in full for the Ticats, and Dane was healthy, and they made the decision early on that Dane was going to start this game. But all in the same 4 quarters, Matt Schultz, it kind of appeared like Matt Schultz was going to take over, and probably for more than just this game. He was coming in to be the guy, and then another injury happens, and they change it again. And boy, it's too much for a team to overcome in one game. The turnovers and just the mixing up at the quarterback position. So that's going to be the piece of news that everybody's going to be waiting to hear this week. What's wrong with Matt Schultz's hand injury-wise? I mean, and Dane also struggling with an injury. And what are they going to do at the quarterback position?
Yeah, you got to think they're going to have to bring somebody in at this point, or unless they're going to roll with Jalen or Jamie Morton, because even Dane got banged up at the end, and he was grimacing on that last drive.
Yep.
You know, even if he wasn't, I'm sure with the turnovers, you got to have some kind of accountability and do something.
Agreed. I think that's, you know, if you're going to salvage something out of the games that are left here, you've got to get somebody in there to produce, and they're going to have to diagnose injuries and then diagnose the reality of you know, trust in what they can do going forward.
RJ, I really felt that after that 58-yard kick, that made field goal by Seth Small at the end of the half, I really believe that the Tiger Cats had severely outplayed the Argonauts. Maybe didn't have the points to show it with that 16-10 lead, but I thought better things were coming in the second half.
Absolutely, Bubba. The statistics proved that. It shouldn't have really been a close game when you look at the statistics in that first half. Again, turnovers cost the Tiger Cats another 17 points off turnovers. I think the Tiger Cats are a better team than 3 and 8, but they just continue to have these struggles in the second half. And when they do a turnover, it always seems to cost them. Here's the glass half full attitude about it. It's another tough loss to take against your rivals, the Argos. However, the East Division has granted an opportunity for the struggling Ticats to stay in it. Now, Montreal has a bye week. They will have a game in hand. Argos have a game in hand, but the Tiger Cats are kind of now in a situation where they have to win that Labor Day game and maybe get a little bit of help, but they have to go on a run. It's not a lost season yet, as disappointing as this loss feels, because it did feel like the Tiger Cats were in control and had momentum at the end of the half, and it was just not close in the second half. So they have to figure things out. Andy, Luke, you guys talked about the quarterback situation. We'll have to wait and see what happens this week with injuries. But that could be a very crucial position that we keep an eye on going into that Labor Day game.
It's like, how many times this year have we been talking about how well the Cats have been playing within a game, yet it's halftime and it's 16-10. It's,
yes,
you know, one play away.
Seems every game
from being down in the game, yet they're complete control, completely dominating. They just can't find, you know, at halftime they had 4 2-and-outs. They had forced 4 2-and-outs on the Argos against 0, and they're just controlling the whole thing, and it, you know, it's hard to. It's hard. Emotional healing. I like
emotional.
That word.
The losses are much heavier than when we were sitting here. You know, even that Edmonton loss that was sort of like jaw dropping, and think, you know, when you're thinking, you know, how that didn't see this one coming kind of thing. Well, now these are heavy and they're costly and meaningful. And, you know, I kind of go back to the Tim White missed opportunity in the end zone earlier this game. It was sort of like a line in the sand to me. That was sort of the end of the positive momentum for the Ticats. And after that, you had quickly Matt Schultz injury to his hand, additional turnovers back to back, and McLeod Bethel Thompson really turning it around after a weak first half. And that was the last we saw of Ticat success tonight. That red zone opportunity was game changing.
Folks, we have exclusive access to the coaching room. We have an opportunity to check in with Coach Orlando's 9 Hour, as presented by Access Storage. We will be getting to him in just a couple of minutes. And, you know, I want to hang on that point. And you talk about the fact that you want to be able to control your own destiny. And I know, Luke, you played on a team not all that long ago, June Jones head coaching, where you had to kind of rely on not only what you did and what other teams did, and that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, and I remember a game here at Tim Hortons Field, at home at Tim Hortons Field, and we really close, battling out to the end. We lost that game, and then waiting that night to see if Sask could beat Ottawa in Sask, and sure enough, Ottawa pulled off the win to eliminate us from the playoffs. And yeah, it's going to get, who knows, there's a chess game coming at the end of the season here, but there's still all possibilities ahead of the Ticats if they can just find a way to right the ship and find a little energy. All
right, guys. As I said, we have exclusive access to the coach room. Time to check in with Coach. Orlando Steinauer is presented by Access Storage. Coach, again, another tough one, outscored in the second half. Tough loss, dropping to 3-8 right now. Obviously, we don't want to know exactly what you told the guys, but what did you what was the message to the boys at the end of this one?
Yeah, I'll keep my message to our team. Fair enough.
Anything in terms of the status, in terms of the injury to Matthew Schultz, and maybe even Dane Evans?
Yeah, Matthew obviously wasn't well enough to return. He's going to get X-rays on his wrist. He's one tough person, and he gutted through it, but he just wasn't able to. So I don't have the exact update right now, and yeah, that's what it is.
Coach, glaringly the turnovers cost you this game. You got to love the fight and the rest of the game, both by the offense and the defensive tackling, the special teams. I mean, you played a pretty good game other than turnovers. How do you get past this?
Well, it's just that, I freaking love this team. I love the fight. I love the grit. It's about execution. And, when you're lining up for extra points and you lose that turnover battle like that, it's hard. And in a game like this, it was going to, it seemed like it was one of those games that was going to come down to who had the ball last. And that's usually what these games come down to. But, in this night, we were playing two teams. We were playing ourselves and the other squad. So, there's frustration there. But for what the hand we were dealt, especially defensively coming in, I thought we battled. I thought offense, we tried. It's just you said it. It's you can't turn the ball over like that. Period.
Coach, Luke here, and tough game, and obviously it's an emotional loss, and they feel heavier at this point. And now, the reality is that the opportunities are all still available. Nothing's been eliminated from the Ticats, meaning postseason chances. And you sit here going into a long week and into the storied Labor Day Classic. What's going to change for you and your coaching staff this week? What do you do different going into this big game at a point in the season where you need your team to change these games around?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Luke, and I would be misleading you and everybody listening if I gave you the exact answer of what to expect from us, because I don't know the injury status. I don't know where we're going. I know that what will be the message is that, fortunately, we're in a division where things are still ahead of us. Things haven't gone according to plan, and, we're going to have to obviously address the turnover situation at the end of the day. So we'll do our job. We'll get them prepared the best that we can. We'll adjust practice. We'll do whatever we have to do. The only thing we can't do is go out there and play.
Hey, Coach, it's RJ here. Just there was a highlight with Seth Small hitting the 58-yarder. That ties a Hamilton Tiger Cats record for longest field goal. You had Michael Damagala out there, then Seth Small came in. Can you tell us what the thought process was there at the near the end of the half?
Yeah, well, Michael's got a really, Damagala's got the stronger leg, and that's fine. And so we didn't want to put, Seth out there in a situation where, maybe he didn't have enough leg to get it there. And that's the advantage we have with Michael on. And but after that, we did have a little breeze at our back. And Seth kind of said, that fortunately there was enough time in there. And Seth said that he'd hit it. So, we put him out there, and I guess I don't know what we cleared it by a yard, but the bottom line is we cleared it.
High water mark there, Coach. Thank you for joining us here. Now, again, yet another tough one, but you're going to have 25,000 people, Ticat fans, Ticat Mania going wild on Labor Day. So let's see.
We'll be there. We'll be there. Stay with us. And appreciate you guys.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Time for our performer of the game as presented by Hercules Tire. Ride on our strength.
Well, I was giving strong consideration to Seth Small when he was 4 for 4 with the 58-yarder. However, he missed the one at the end that kind of really sealed the deal in the loss. And throughout the whole game, a guy kept coming up, making plays on the defense. Mason Bennet,
Yes.
the new look with the visor tonight, and he, 5 tackles, 2 sacks, a huge pass deflection to stop a drive. He's the performer of the game. He was all over the field.
The visor will stay.
The visor will stay. I love the look.
You know what I liked about Mason Bennett's performance too is from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, we were still talking about him, and he was all over the field, and I love that pass deflection too. I mean, tackles, sacks, and pass breakup is just an unbelievable performance.
And guys, I'll just throw this open. I think the coach just kind of said it. The fight from this team continues. I mean, we have seen, I've been around here long enough to see teams like this that have records like this, that it's obvious that they've thrown in the towel. Like they can't wait till the end of the season so they can go home. That has not been the case with this team, RJ.
Yeah, it's like I was saying earlier. There is a glass that's still half full here. This loss is tough to take. Yes, 0-6 on the road, not winning back-to-back games, turning the ball over too much. But finishing in the top 2 in the East Division is still a realistic opportunity. So it's a tough loss, yes. But we could be having a much different conversation on Labor Day if the Tiger Cats do what they pretty much have to do now, and that's win that football game.
You're still seeing the defensive players getting excited for tackles, and the special teams player excited for tackles late in the fourth, even when you're down by a couple scores. The offense fighting for extra yards. Tim White still quietly ended up with over 100 yards. Poppy with 7 catches for 81. Dunbar for 81. I mean, these guys are fighting.
You see some long receptions at the end of the game when you clearly were going to lose, and you see some big plays. And there's no other way to do it. Like, Andy, I actually remember having a reasonable amount of fun at the end of the 2017 season when we were out of the playoffs. I had a couple really good games, and we were still out there playing football. There's a lot of jobs you could do in the world, and that's not the worst one. And these guys are much better than that. They still have a chance to win a Grey Cup this year.
And RJ, I mean, the season series isn't quite over with the Argos. Right. I mean, they're only down by 24 points aggregate. So if they can win by 24 or more on Labor Day, then they can still take the season series.
It's tough, but it is possible. Definitely possible.
Let's check back to the locker room and connect with our player of the game, our performer of the game, as presented by Hercules Tire, Mason Bennet. Exclusive post-game interview is presented by Access Storage. And Mason, again, a real tough one out there. The motors never ended. How does this one feel? Obviously, a difficult loss.
Yeah, no, any loss always stings, but we got a quick turnaround here, and we got to move forward.
Mason, you had a new look tonight, and is this one of those look good, feel good, play good kind of scenarios?
That's how every game is. I try to treat it as such. But yeah, my first game come back after an injury a couple weeks ago, so I knew I had to turn up and just make my plays.
Mason, you had your first sack as a Ticat on Labor Day last year. How big is this next game going to be? What's the feeling in the locker room right now amongst the fellas?
Yeah, it's huge, especially at the point in the season we're at right now. We're trying to stay positive, see what we did wrong, see what we did good, and move on from there.
Mason, you had a big game. When you look at the defense, I know you're going to want to see tape and everything, but what's your overall evaluation of the Ticats defense tonight?
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the film in a couple of days here, evaluate, like I said, what we did good, what we did bad, and fix any mistakes we had, and just appreciate the good plays we made and move on from there.
Mason, one of the impressive things, we thought you had, from the first quarter to the fourth, even as the game started to slip away, you were still out there with a high motor. You take that energy into this week of practice. What do you expect from yourself going into one of the most looked forward to games in the whole season, the Labor Day Classic?
The exact same. If we came off a win or a loss and it's a big game coming up or a small game, we're going to treat any week like it's a normal week. So get back to work tomorrow, watch the film, and then review the tape, and we're going to move on from there.
Mason Bennet, thank you so much for joining us again. Tough, difficult loss, but again, as I talked to the coach, Labor Day, 25,000 screaming Ticat fans are going to be all jammed up for you guys to perform on Labor Day Monday, as they always do every year annual on the big game. So we look forward to seeing you perform on the field then.
Appreciate it. Take care, guys.
This exclusive post-game interview is presented by Access Storage. Our performer of the game is presented by Hercules Tire. Ride on our strength. Mason Bennet. I'm going to go right back to you there, Luke, on this one. And I say this to you because you've been in the huddle with the man. You have caught touchdown passes from the man. What's wrong with Dane Evans?
It's a hard position to be in. And when you're dealing with both the pressure of potentially being replaced, and the potential of your performance getting you out of there, and then you've also got the pressure of your injuries, and that's I can relate to that very, very well. Where you sometimes don't trust yourself to perform at the highest level because of something you're dealing with, and he's got both of those, and you can tell that Dane is, at moments when a play is done or dead, he's for one more second trying to force something a little bit, especially I think back to the interception where he's attempting to throw the ball away, and he's getting tangled up and can't get enough arm on it to even get it out past the sidelines. And so it's just trying to control a few things that are outside of your control.
But as a veteran quarterback, I mean, your mind would tell you just to take the sack and live for another day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and you can just see it starting to mount, and that I've said it during the broadcast too, that success and confidence builds together, and one builds off of the other. And the negative of that is that when you've made that mistake, you can kind of see you're starting to not trust yourself to not do it again, and you add that into forcing and the pressures. And I would wish for Dane to take a breath, to get back to having fun playing football no matter what happens with your career, with the season, any of that, but enjoy being a professional quarterback, because he certainly has the skill set and the mindset, when his confidence is there, to be an excellent professional quarterback.
Time for Andy to review his CarStar 3 keys to the game. Let her rip.
Well, we could really just talk about one and get this over with, but sure, we'll go through it. So number one was sure tackling, and I thought they did a great job, honestly. I think they had the last drive of the first half was their only missed tackles in the whole first half, and in the second half there were about 2 or 3 on run plays that kind of squirted out for an extra 5 yards or so, but nothing glaring like there was in Montreal. So that was very solid game and solid improvement on the tackling. Number two was risk-taking mentality. It's really kind of hard to objectively score this one. Late in the first half, there was a 3rd and 3. They ended up kicking a field goal. Later in the second half, there was a 3rd and 2, and they had to, they didn't get it. We didn't see any fakes by the special teams. We didn't see too much out there, so I would just kind of call this a wash or a negative. But most importantly, the number 3 was win the turnover battle, and with a 6-1 deficit, that's a big loss, and they're just tanking in the rankings in the league for turnover ratio.
Yeah, you're right. It's getting like lopsided compared to the rest, and you can even if you scratch the one late turnover on downs, whatever, it's still 5-1, and it's just it almost doesn't matter how well you play in other categories.
Yeah, 20 to 0 points off turnovers. You're not going to win a lot of games like that.
No.
And when you're forcing so many 2 and outs, 6-2 on the positive side and 2 and outs, but you only win that the points off 2 and outs 13-10. So you're looking at a total of 30. If you add the 2 and outs and the turnovers, you're looking at a 30-13 deficit. Just not going to get it done.
For a lot of people and a lot of fans in the Ticats Nation, it doesn't matter if you make the playoffs. It doesn't matter if you win the Grey Cup. You got to win on Labor Day, RJ. And this is where the expectations will be high in the next game on Labor Day Monday at 1 p.m.
Absolutely. I mean, Tiger Cats have put themselves in a position where they have to win, must win. We'll talk about that.
But RJ with his must wins.
But they really do. And you're right, Bubba. It's a big game. But I do think Ticats fans, after going to the Grey Cup 2 seasons in a row, would like to get back there. So the playoffs are very important. But it does start with step one, and that is Labor Day against the Argos, Tim Hortons Field. Tiger Cats have to get on the right track and get this confidence and a little swagger back.
Well, folks, we're certainly looking forward to that. Hey, a reminder, the Labor Day Classic 50-50 jackpot, a guaranteed $50,000. Just a reason to be involved. Tickets go on sale Monday at 10 a.m. Be sure to get your ticket early for a chance at that $50K and the early bird draw for $1,000 on Friday, September the 2nd at 8 p.m. That's brought to you by the Hamilton Bulldogs Foundation. License hashtag RAF1235466. And before you head out to Tim Hortons Field for the Labor Day Classic, help Purelator Tackle Hunger Initiative. Bring a non-perishable food item to the game to support Hamilton Food Share and help us tackle hunger in Hamilton. Tiger Cats go down 37-20 to the rival Argonauts at BMO Field. Thank you for listening. For Andy Fantus, RJ Broadhead, Luke Tasker, I'm Bubba O'Neill. We are back this coming Labor Day Monday at noon. With the Argos traveling to Tim Hortons Field, raucous crowd. They're going to be a fun one. We're on the air at noon with Tiger Cats pregame as presented by Journey Rewards. That's all coming to you. Join us, please, on the Tiger Cats Audio Network.